Hey, what's up guys? Your boy Chad Viper here, and as you all know, the Street Fighter V character Menat was just released. Brand new character in the Street Fighter V universe, so I'm going to be doing a breakdown, analysis, and overall gameplay style of the character. First of all, she's a very unique character, brand new. She has some pretty cool setups with her orbs that let you like push and pull your opponent in. So let's get into our bread and butter. First of all, I think she's a very footsie heavy based character. If you want to play this character at a high level, you're gonna need very developed footsie game. And I say this because you want to keep them in that close range to medium range in a fight. You want to keep them almost kind of as close as possible. Almost like a medium distance, close distance to your opponent. And this just because the length of her normals and the fact that you have to send her orb out to push and pull, and you know her reflect, that also can be used too. So always remember, keep your opponents kind of close, so you can lock them down and apply some really good pressure with the character. Now, I know I say that, but you want them close, but you kind of want them right outside that close range. If you know what I'm talking about, like measure her crouching medium kick. You barely want to whiff that. That's where you want them at. The crouching medium kick should just whiff your opponent. And I say this because most of her normals are pretty like janky. She kind of just flails them out, and it looks like they can be counterpoked pretty hard, in my opinion. It doesn't look like she has too many options with block strings and things like that. So I see her being counterpoked a lot. So it's all going to be about outfooting your opponent and getting those hits in. So be wary, keep your opponent in that spacing, and you'll be really good with the character. As well as her frames and the startup of her moves, the startups seem pretty slow to me. Not too fast, maybe about average, but it doesn't seem like she has very fast startup on most of her normals. And this is why I'm saying you want them out of that. You want them in that range where you barely just met with your crouching medium kick. That's a really good range for Menat, actually. That's probably the best spacing that you can probably have with Menat if you're not, trying to actually hit them. Other than that, she's a very rushdown heavy character. And I say this because just look at the character. She doesn't really have any defense options at all, except her V reversal, but we'll get into that later. The way her normals work, her normals seem like they're basically working to pressure your opponent, not to play any kind of defense or anything like that. She doesn't really have any options to get out of heavy pressure. So you basically want to rush down your opponent as much as possible and force them into some bad situations with that. As far as her mix-up game, she has some pretty cool mix-up potential, and I made this video kind of late because I wanted to see the combos that players were going to start doing and some of the setups that she has. I did see a few setups where you activate her B trigger and then you like cross them up and stuff like that. So I've seen some options where you go for the cross up after you send the orb out, or you go for the dive kick after you set the orb up. And I'm sure she'll have some more options where you fake cross up and you go low and stuff like that. So she does seem to have some pretty cool setups. I think I've seen some setups on sweep too. So sweep and then activate, so be wary of that. So she's very aggressive, especially if she has those orbs. You want to lock your opponent down and keep them guessing and get that big damage off that she does, because she does hit pretty hard with orbs out, even without it. As far as defense, she has a pretty cool V reversal. Very good for escaping anything, because I think you like teleport all the way behind your opponent. So that's the only option she has to get out to me. So keep that in mind when playing. I kind of see what players are going to do if they're going to play defense or block and wait for the V trigger, or if they're going to spin the red bar and just re-reversal out of everything. It's kind of a, like, I want to do both, but it can't, so I got to pick one. It's kind of like a 50-50 type thing for me. You want her V trigger so you can get the pressure and do the damage, but you might need the reversal because she doesn't have a lot of ways to get out of moves, get out of pressure. So I want to see how players are going to adapt to that and what they're going to do in some situation. But the character is definitely very aggressive. She's definitely rush down heavy. Definitely doesn't have many defensive options, and she definitely has an okay footsie game, as long as you keep them in that spacing we talked about earlier. So I see Menat being a pretty good threat. Let's wait for the meta to update and see what players really do with her. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Ciao, bye for now.